AIPAC did not have the President of the United States speak. They did have the Secretary of State who's negotiating the peace agreement with the Palestinians and the peace the nuclear weapons disarmament with Iran, who spoke here tonight. Did you listen to his remarks tonight?
Oh, I certainly listened to his remarks. That was one of the main things I wanted to hear at AIPAC. And, he made, as usual, they do such a great job at talking about... They do such a great job of talking about how they love Israel. And that's really, it's really fabulous. I really enjoy seeing the way they tell it. They weave a great story about how they once did, something in Israel that made a big difference in their life. I really like that a lot. But when it comes to the substantive issues, let's just focus on one singular moment in that speech, in which basically John Kerry made Mahmoud Abbas, a.k.a. Abu Mazen, into just like a righteous Gentile. He's one of the great, he should be remembered in Yad Vashem as one of the great heroes, the saviors of the Jewish people. He loves Israel. He's working, he wants to stop incitement, and he wants to do everything to quell the tide of terrorism. That whole talk is so counterfactual that it makes everything else a problem. Even if everything else that John Kerry said sounds good, to make Mahmoud Abbas into a decent fella and to completely erase the incessant, virulent, and just, there's no other word to describe it but neo-Nazi propaganda that goes on every single day and that young Palestinian children are exposed to every single day and being taught to hate. To deny that and to make Mahmoud Abbas into a decent fella who just wants peace is to create an upside-down world. And this creation of an upside-down world is something that is so harmful. To not call a spade, to not show the truth, which is that there's so much wrong on that side of things, isn't correct. And furthermore, the failed policy of a two-state solution is a recurring idea that's whose time has gone. It's been tried, it's been tested, and it has failed. In the great tradition of all scientific experiments, it's been tried, it's been tested, it's been failed, and it's failed over and over again. It's time to move on, and I think that it would behoove AIPAC, where 17,000 Israel-loving people came, and you just have to hand it to them. What a beautiful event. What a beautiful conglomeration of people, especially young people. I have tremendous respect for what I've seen here.
In organizing.
In organizing, and many great sessions. And that's exactly why it behooves this great organization to take it to the next step and open up a discussion about something broader, about alternatives to the two-state solution. It's time that certain mantras should stay, like Jerusalem's the eternal undivided capital of the Jewish people. That should stay. And the two-state solution is the only solution, is no solution at all. And it's time to move past that. And I really do believe that the people here in these halls need to hear something different. And you heard it in the clapping as well. The clapping was just... It wasn't great clapping. It certainly wasn't a strident, stand up and clap for a vision. It was like, okay, I'll clap for it because that's what I'm here to do. But you know what? It ain't exciting me.
Do you feel that Secretary of State Kerry's positioning of Mahmoud Abbas also calls into credibility the rest of anything he says?
I think that he has probably a love for Israel. I don't want to comment on people's motivations because it doesn't really matter to me. With respect to people's motivations, I don't know. I just know that Iran is moving forward in getting the bomb. And I know that Mahmoud Abbas is not a nice guy and would unleash a terror jihad that if either he or the Hamas folks that would take him over at any second would unleash. So therefore, it doesn't matter to me the goodness of John Kerry's heart. It's just that these are mistaken policies. And it's time to review them. It's time to give us new alternatives. Israel's got to take the next step. We have achieved so much in 60 years, so much success, so much wondrousness. It's time for a lively debate about the great next stage, the next Zionist revolution. And the first thing is going to be the embracing of the ancestral Jewish homeland, the cradle of Jewish civilization. That's Jerusalem and Beit El and Beit Lechem, Bethlehem, and of course Hebron. Hebron is our heart. That's where our parents are buried. to give it up and to forget about where we came from is antithetical to Zionism. Zionism is about returning to roots, not about abandoning roots. And that's what the Jewish people's return to the homeland, to the ancient land, is about. So I wouldn't want us to make that mistake any further. It's time to develop new and exciting horizons for the next step of Israel.
Would you say that AIPAC may be trying to promote the Obamacare agenda through this conference?
They want to keep a close relationship between Israel and America, and that's America's position. At the end of the day, this is an American organization, and you can understand that, and I'm not here to... My faulting with it is not that they had John Kerry speak. That's the Secretary of State of the United States. You can't fault them for that. I fault them for not having other voices, which can be included, like Naftali Bennett. Who's articulating a new position, and I'm so proud of the fact that we have a young, successful warrior and builder in the Jewish state, a minister of trade and industry. It's time to bring his voice to the fore as well, and other voices like that who are offering us yet other and maybe better alternatives. And that's, I think, something that behooves AIPAC to bring also those leaders from Israel so that this great crowd can hear that as well.
And do you think that he wasn't available to come here, or that it's an error of omission?
It's an error of omission. I think that we know that nationalistic voices have not yet been as welcome. I think we will positively erode that calcification and hopefully bring those voices to the fore. I'm not here to rip anybody. I'm not here to say that AIPAC is bad. It's good. AIPAC is beautiful, and you've brought together so many lovers of the Jewish state, Jews and Gentiles. I'm just saying we can take it a step further and make it more full, more robust. And I believe that it's also time to return to a strong narrative of Israel, an Israel that leads, an Israel that articulates a vision for the rest of the Middle East and pushes out its liberal agenda of liberty, of clean water, of rights, of women driving, of health, and of knowledge, and of the opposite of repression, of freedom and liberty. That's Israel. And I think that the only way that vision is going to make it in the Middle East is by Israel being more robust and extending its umbrella of ideas further. And that starts first and foremost by asserting sovereignty over Judea and Samaria. It's the beginning of a kind of coming out of the shell, a flourishing of the flower, coming out of the cocoon, to mix the metaphors. And that's Israel's next step. It's not only to be a defensive state, it's to come out, fight the bad guys, and you will let the good guys flourish. Scott, thank you so much for letting me be with you here on JewTube, and you guys are doing a great job. Toda.
Thank you for speaking with us. Thank you. Wonderful. Good. You're a